Oh, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, the devil's after me. 4, 5, 6, he's always telling 6. 7, 8, 9, he misses all the time. Hallelujah, hallelujah, I say. 9, 8, 7, I'm on my way to heaven. 6, 5, 4, I'm almost at the door. 3, 2, 1, the victory has been won. Hallelujah, hallelujah, I say. Amen.
Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Jericho, Jericho. Joshua at the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. You can talk about the men of Nineveh, you can talk about the men of Saul, but there's none like good old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Joshua at the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua at the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. You can talk about the men of Nineveh, you can talk about the men of Saul, but there's none like good old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Jericho, Jericho. Joshua at the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. You can talk about the men of Nineveh, you can talk about the men of Saul, you can talk about the girl Joshua at the battle of Jericho. It's a good old song. I gotta get the whole song and learn and I'll sing it for you properly. But we're gonna talk about the powers that control us. And to make it a little personal, the powers that control you. I purposely said you and me. Because oftentimes we think about control, we think of like remote control cars. I remember when I was young, I was always asking mom for a moped and a remote control car. Didn't get either one of them, not because she loved me, it was more about resources and having 5 children and other things to deal with. But I was obsessed with this idea of having something in my hands that I could press the buttons left to right and go, and you go in there, race them. I just love remote control cars. But I realized that it was kind of this idea of me controlling my little hands here. The antenna would somehow connect with the car, and it would cause the car to go where I wanted to go if I was kind of a good guider. But I also noticed that over time that I grew up and I went to high school, and after high school I went to college. I took this class called Photo 10. It's like beginning photography. And they kind of go over the primitive versions of photography all the way to digital advanced photography. And I loved the class. It's like what got me into photography as a professional. And I was a really great teacher. And I was in the class and I was understanding how media worked. And they had a section talking about how powerful pictures are and how we use them every day to control the population. Propaganda content, right? And it starts at a very young age. It can happen very subtly. It can happen subliminally in movies. It can happen you not even know you're being controlled. I ever walked into like an AM/PM and you walk inside and they have a banner probably about 4 feet from the ceiling, and it's a beautiful graphic of blue. It's like liquid soda kind of splashing. The bubbles are great. Have you ever seen these images of like make you thirsty? You ever seen like a big soda machine? You walk into like either a Walmart or a Target and you walk in, it's this amazing like splashing of water, right? And it's like soda, Coca-Cola, right? It's very kind of like, I wasn't thirsty, but now that I've seen this, I might get something to drink, right? The image can give a subtle control. Have you ever seen a relationship, maybe a couple, a married couple, or a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and say the companion, one of the companions has a particular temperature that they like, that they prefer, they can get hot too easy or get too cold too easy. And they walk into the room, and it's a couple, and they walk down, they sit down in their house, and they go, I'm a little hot. And the companion completely gets up and changes the temperature. Now, she didn't say, can you get up and turn the temperature up or down? She didn't say that. He, companion. I'm trying to keep it neutral here, but it's she. He or she didn't say, can you please stand up and turn the air conditioner? I'm a little hot. He said, I'm just a little hot. And they get up and move, right? So how does that happen? Is that kind of subliminal messaging happening? Have you ever seen parents walk out into the playground and the kids acting out a little bit? They just look at them. The kid's like, all right. And they stop. The parent doesn't say a word. The parent just looks at him. And the child responds accordingly. So one of the things that's significant about dealing with what controls us, what controls you, what controls me? That's a big question. Because if we can answer that question, we can be in a place where we can understand where things around us are constantly trying to tell us to, oh, buy this, treat someone this way, talk to a person this way. These are things that control us. For example, we all happen to have clothes on right now in this room. Well, we didn't necessarily choose the clothing on our own accord that we wear today, the colors we choose, the style of clothes we wear. This was influenced, right? So I'm gonna try a little exercise. I don't want to do exercises like this before, but we'll try it. We're gonna go through a quick. Well, first I'm gonna ask a quick question before I go to the exercise. Quick question, and also before that, I'm gonna get some scriptures out. That I'm famous for getting to the end of the lesson and go, oh, we didn't have time for scriptures. I'm gonna have time for scriptures up front. So get your cell phones, your pens out, your documenting devices. I want to get these scriptures out because these are really fundamental blocks of making what controls us very useful. Okay? Because I don't want you to kind of get in fear today. I don't want you to feel like you should walk around suspicious of everything. I really want you to understand that God wants you to think differently than America wants you to think.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm not saying that America is bad. This is not a lesson that's going to critique America directly. But you have to understand, I'm not going to go there. We have our own personal challenges around that. But this is about noticing that what America, what your capitalist structure wants you to do, the Bible's actually asking you something slightly, or I won't be subtle here, drastically different. And the implications can be very powerful in you being effective and not being controlled by the things around you. So are we scripture ready? Are we cell phoned up? Or are we penciled up? The first scripture I would like to get to is Romans 8:28.
Romans 8:28, I got it.
This is a powerful scripture that I've heard all my life. As I get older, I'm like, are you sure this is in the Bible? Let's just sure something going. Another one here is Joshua with the Battle of Jericho 1:9. Joshua 1:9. Joshua, you got that one? Nice. Joshua. All right, we'll stop. Matthew 19:26. Matthew 19:26.
Yeah.
Anyone got Matthew 19:26? All right, we'll get to it. And also Isaiah 5:5, or I said 55, I guess. You got 2 5s in a row. 5:55, 8-11. Now, what controls us? Now, what's interesting to me is oftentimes, I remember I was growing up and they said, oh, you're going to marry someone just like your mother. You're going to marry someone just like your father, right? I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is this theory, you know? What is this? And what they talk about is that oftentimes we are influenced. We're taught to love and like individuals we see a lot, right? So oftentimes when we think about these scriptures and things we're about to get into, I want us to understand that I thought I was so like independent thinking and in control of things. And there are times where I'm not hungry, I'm running around or whatever, and you smell like, you ever like smelled food cooking and was like, I think I'm gonna get some food. I'm hungry. I think I'm hungry. You weren't hungry until you smelled the fried whatever. Uh-oh, you got some answers here, Alicia?
Well, an example of that.
Example of that, yes.
It's a marketing strategy. It's
Yes.
pure advertising.
Pure advertisement.
I've heard, and I've also experienced it. Well, no, it's been at the amusement park Disneyland. The candy store along the ground has little fans
Yes.
that blow air out of the candy store
Yes.
onto the street.
Yes.
And the candy store said they drop vanilla on those fans. And so it blows mist vanilla out onto the street. And when anyone walks by, they name the candy that they
Yes.
like, and
Yes.
they go into the store.
Yes.
It's a specific marketing strategy, but the only thing that's on these fans is vanilla.
So
That's
you
it.
can put whatever flavor you want.
It's
Wow,
in
wow,
your
wow.
mind.
What controls us? In Lancaster, it's a TED Talk, you look up on the interweb. It's a place, there's this outdoor street mall where they had like shopping happening. I should have story a lot, but it kind of talks about this control thing. where people were not only having conflict with each other, but they were stealing a lot from the vendors and people that were trying to sell there. And they're like, what can we do? We put more police officers up there, nothing's really working. And they hired a gentleman to put some speakers up, and they played bird sounds. Little beep, 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 beep. Bird sounds, you hear little beep bird sounds? And in the crime rate and the stealing dropped like 30%, and the violence dropped like 30%. And they were shocked because adding police officers, adding money, but the little chirping birds dropped. The theft? What does speakers with birds in it have to do with people stealing and fighting and having conflict, right? They controlled that population, that group in a major, noticeable, documented way. Saved vendors lots of, how do they do that? And the psychologist talked that actually introduced it, said that in the forest, if you ever in the forest, early hunting, gathering groups, we're in the forest, we're like, yeah, man, buddy, get the animal. I don't know how they talk actually, but they're communicating, and the birds get quiet. What happens? They're like, wait, the birds are quiet, we should be quiet, right? They're quite aware that it's like the birds see the lion or whatever stalking them, they go, hey, something's up. And the birds go, oh, the lion went away, the birds are chirping again, oh, okay, we're good, okay, keep going. You notice the idea of us being plugged in, so say when you bring in birds, if you ever think about it, have you ever seen like a little, I don't know if you ever seen this, you should do it. Go to the feed barn, get some baby chickens, okay? Even if you can't buy them, just stand by them, watch them just, little fuzzball, they look fake. They're, beep, 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 beep. It's one of the most entertaining, powerful, soothing sensations you almost ever can hear. Or ever heard like a little baby puppy, ever held a baby puppy? Right? These are things that make you calm. Babies are the same way. But the idea is that nature can almost let us know if you're not safe. Have you ever seen a movie and like something's about to happen? What happens? The music what? Changes. Dun, 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 dun. Right? It's not like ding, ding, ding. It's like dun, dun, dun. And so you're in your seat, you're probably gripping your seat like, he's not gonna make it out. He's run, right? Run. You see that time in the video games, you kind of turn to the game. You're trying to get him to react, but there's dun dun. It's that the music tells you, it controls what?
Your mood, your response.
Your adrenaline, right? Now I watched this movie, Aliens and Monsters, the animation, not the actual live action one, the Aliens versus the animation one, in animation 3D in the theater here. I was watching in the theater, and the opening sequence is the guy has his little paddle boards with the ball on it, right? He's paddling it in the animation, and the ball flies off the screen towards me. I'm in the seat like, I forget, like, oh, it's 3D, it's not hitting me in the face. But I was being what? Controlled by the 3D screen, right? Because it felt like that ball was coming straight toward me, but it's illusion, it was fake, right? This is really what we use to feed us, to clothe us, to make us feel hungry, to choose our companions, is there's constant messages and images and messages and images. It's almost the idea when I was, it's the last story I'm going to share, but it's the same symbolic idea. I used to love killing ants. I get up in the morning, I strategize how to kill ants. The things I've done to ants, I don't want to talk about, but I love killing ants. I would kill ants. I would kill ants with a little hammer, a little ball, big hammer. I'd kill them. I'd pick them up with pliers and watch them hurt and watch them slowly die. I was just into killing ants. It was something I had to do. It was like better than PlayStation didn't have it for me. I was out there in the dirt playing and killing ants. And I was focused. I was a focused ant killer. And help me if I'm getting too close to a bush and something brushes me on the back of my neck while I'm in the middle of my hours of killing ants. I slap myself as if there was the biggest monster spider on me because I was determined that one of those ants got on my thing, crawled up, and was about to enact vengeance upon my neck. And so I didn't look. I slapped myself. I was sure I was about to feel a sting shortly after, right? Now, if you got a normal day and I'm sitting there and relaxed and you just tickle me, I'm like, oh, stop, that's kind of annoying. I wouldn't slap myself so hard. But I'm in that very tense space of anticipation. So that little, it has so much more power, right? So this is how control works. It builds you up with fear and watch out because a fire might come, and then all of a sudden they just tickle you a little bit and go, hey, buy this new car. Okay, yes, buy it. Okay, I make me feel better. I'm safer because I have this car, right? They tickle you. That's how control works, right? You're a parent, it could be a parent, could be over a child, and they pressure a child, you get good grades, hypothetically, right? And then someone's like, if you cheat on the test, you'll get that A. Oh, yeah, just do it, right? It makes sense because the pressure was built there. It's control, right? Now, I'm not saying that all parents that pressure kids to get good grades make them cheat, but I'm saying this is how the logic can work of how control can be set in place, right? So, oftentimes it's funny, I think about these scriptures here, is that fear is one of the best, outside of sexuality, fear is one of the second, I would say first things they use to control you, right? To control you. They want you to be very, I said they, our marketing beast industry of marketing wants you to feel scared a little bit. Because fear makes you act quickly. I remember my mom helped me think about this. I was walking, I remember the ambulance got called for something, accident. The ambulance pulls up, the lights are all on, and the ambulance guy gets out and starts walking to the front door. He has his bag, he's got his bag. He knocks. You guys call 911. I'm like, what kind of ambulance is this? He should like, stop all fast, get out, grab the bag, sprint to the front door, bust in the door. I thought it's an emergency. I said, Mom, why isn't he running? Why isn't he like? I said, look, they're trained to walk in calmly. Because why? They don't miss things, right? They don't miss things. The mistakes drop dramatically when you actually think things through. Well, marketers don't want you to be an ambulance driver. They don't want you to think. They want you to be so scared. You say, I bought all the stuff I didn't even know why this is not what I want. Why is this unnecessary? Why shouldn't we not be scared? Why is this something God wants? So we're going to first scripture, Romans 8:20. Where does it all come from? Why should we not be so scared to go buy something?
Romans 8:28.
Yes, please.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
So all things work together for good for those that believe in Jesus Christ. Right? That's kind of a strange scripture if you think about it, because life is tough. Life is really tough. There are times where you're probably sick, or your loved one's sick, or you're in a car accident, and you lose your resources, and you're like, this is supposed to be good. So all things are good for those
Who are called.
Wait, can you read that one more time?
Yes, read it again. Let's read it again. Thank you. That's a good idea.
Romans 8:28. And we know
Yes.
that all things
Yes.
work together for good
Yes.
to them
Yes.
that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose.
If you love God, everything that happens in your life is for good. Because God has built that around you. That is embedded in the DNA. So should you be scared? Should you ever purchase something out of fear? And I'm not saying you shouldn't wear your seat buckles. I'm not saying you shouldn't get an alarm for your house or your car to protect the things that you like and possess. But should we do them based upon fear? Should it ruin our day if we lose something that's valuable financially to us? Right? Because the reason I say that is because this is how the mechanism wants us not to think. You don't want something bad to happen to you, right? Can we get Joshua 1 and 9?
Joshua 1 and 9.
Yes.
Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee. Wheresoever thou goest.
Wheresoever thou goest? Can you read that last part again? I don't have a scripture around only short parts of it.
The Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest.
Yes, thank you. What's significant is that this is talking about Joshua, and they're going into battle here. But I think as we understand, have you ever gotten up and you feel like you're going to battle? You got up in the morning, and you're about to leave the house, you thought, I'm going to battle. Now, you don't have a sword or a weapon with you, but you understand in your personal life, you are headed to battle.
Oh, Lord.
Right? Yeah. And it said, be courageous, but also said, don't be fearful.
Oh, Lord.
Now, I want to be clear on this fearful thing because there are times I'll be walking, trying to grab something, it happens to be a snake. Now, if you put your finger on my heart rate will go through the roof as far as temperature. It'll be flittering so quickly, trying to figure out how to manage this snake. I'm not a big snake fan. I think they're an amazing animal, but I'm not one to like get a snake and oh, it's nature, right? They're amazing at a distance. That's a natural fear. I think it's a healthy fear to be afraid if you are afraid of snakes. But what we're talking about here is not just like, ow, oh, that surprised me. That's human nature, right? You kind of learn, like, you put your hand on the fire, it's like, ouch, and if you surprise us, we'll jump, right? That's not necessarily the fear I'm talking about, right? Because it's important for us to manage the idea that the fear I'm talking about is the fear that could make us, separate us from God.
Oh, Lord.
The fear, what does that mean, separate you from God? Meaning that you will compromise your moral structure to suffice this illusion, this 3D illusion of fear that man likes to give us. Because when a robber comes in with a weapon to take something from us, we give him everything we have at the time because your life is not worth it. But what is he threatening with that gun? He's threatening your life. That's like the ultimate threat. So the idea is like, hey, this cell phone, this car, whatever it is, it's not worth my life. I can do a whole lot. I can get more cars. I can't get my life back. This one, I cut my nails. I go click, 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 not a big deal. Cut my finger, bigger deal, right? Cut my arm, bigger deal, and so on and so forth. So we understand the value of life as we get older. But the fear I'm talking about says, I am afraid for my life, so I'll make decisions accordingly, but I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to compromise my moral structure. I'm not going to compromise the moral structure. We're going to be courageous. And courageous, sometimes people say, well, being courageous is loud and it's big and it's chest out. Well, I always argue that Jesus was courageous and he didn't have to be loud all the time. He didn't have to be all big. Courageous is doing the right thing, even when no one else is looking. Doing the right thing, even though it's harder than doing the wrong thing. We can find Matthew 19 and 26. I want to get to that one as well. The reason I want to say this is because fear, I'm going to get to the exercise now, fear has probably all had an impact on every person in this room, including myself. So I'm not acting like something we've not dealt with as far as control. But I want to get a short list and say, what does fear mean to you? When I say fear, what comes up for you? It could be a rat, it could be heights, it can be a particular kind of environment. But when I say fear, what comes up for you? Airplanes. No, that's legit. I'm going to say nothing is off the table here. Whatever is your fear, we want to just kind of put it, if you feel comfortable sharing. Yes, Kasaya. Violence. Say it again. Violence. Yeah. Anyone else want to share? Yes, Joshua.
Failure.
Ooh, failure. Yes, failure. Anyone else want to share? Yes, Joe.
Rejection.
Ooh, rejection. That's huge. Very good list so far. Thank you all for sharing so far. What? Money. This is another really good one. Wow, this list is gonna take the whole month up to deal with this stuff. This is good. This is good stuff. Anyone else want to share what when I say word of fear, what comes up for you? Whatever's on the top, down on the bottom, whatever it is, fear. I have one. It's like drowning in water. Like not being able to get out, but the water's in your nose or something. Like you just can't breathe, you know? So water, drowning, I'll say. It's not water, just drowning specifically. I can't breathe. It's really, really scary for me. Yes. Claustrophobia. I did all that. Claustrophobia. I'm not even trying to spell that one. I'll just put a little. So claustrophobia. Claustrophobia. Yes, Keziah. Spiders is another one. I had a spider crawl in front of my face as a black widow. It scared me so bad. I'm not even normally scared of spiders, but that one got me. I was like, whoa, what is it? I know it. Me and you know. Well, the species is unimportant. Ants. See, I give homage to them black ant photography that I was playing. We go way back. Yeah, name my company now. All right, so anyone else want to share when the word fear comes up? What are you afraid of? That you feel comfortable sharing. That's enough. I mean, this is here.
Mice.
Ooh, mice. I'll say mice and rats, because I didn't know there was a difference between a mouse and a rat. I figured they were the same. Yes, Joshua.
Fear of success.
Ooh, fear of success. Success. We have memories with rats. Well, I'll tell you that. So I want to say something that's important is that fear of being on a plane, fear of violence, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of money, fear of drowning, fear of claustrophobia, spiders, ants, mice, rats, and success. Right? One thing that's significant here is that these are perfect examples of what God says all things work together for good. Now, mind you, at 1 o'clock in the morning, a rat running through my house. I'm like, how, Lord, how is this a good thing? Right? I don't get it. It's smarter than I thought it was supposed to be. It's fast and it's moving quickly and I can't sleep, right? But one thing that's important is that it's not just about the activity, right? It's how you handle yourself through that activity that God is going to give you grace and power for. It's not just simply like the rats can turn to gold and you go cash it in. It's not going to come out that simple. It's going to be, you're going to learn through that trial and through that environment, that press, to be kind to those around you as you go through it. To be kind to yourself as you go through it. Right? So there's this world is a violent place. The devil is walking around like a lion, seeking who he can destroy. And unfortunately, many young people, many adults, many elderly, children, unborn children, are all suffering from this violent situation. But in that, there are many, many experiences where God is coming to the rescue. God is stepping in and making things right, where no one actually sees it all the time. So when I say that, I want us to think about the magnitude and the power of where we are as Christians and what we can tap into so that we can understand why we're not going to be fearful. Did we get Matthew 19 and 26?
Matthew 19:26.
Yes.
But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible.
Say it one more time. This is one of those iconic scriptures we kind of say a lot because we like the way it sounds, but living it and believing it is a task that's going to take a lifetime. Read it one more time.
But Jesus held them and said unto them, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible.
Some things are possible. No, that's not the phrasing. All things are possible with God. All things. And sometimes people say, well, what do you mean all things are impossible? And as a capitalist structure, we go, I want all the money in the world. God says it's possible. I should get it. This is not a bottle, like a genie bottle we rub and say, God, give me what I want from my kind of capitalistic structure. It's more about God understanding what our needs are. God understanding what our great-great-great-great-grandchildren from here needs are. And helping us have a lifestyle, a support for ourselves that has not just impact on our community and people around us, but our community for many, many years to come. Going back to our list, got to think about all things work together. Not some. Violence, someone said. Violence is something that's really played into in our culture, in cinema and movies and video games and many other ways we can consume. Violence is a part of our environment. If that's a fear, if that's what we're afraid of, understand that all things are possible if we believe in God, in Jesus Christ. Another one is failure. Failure is like fantastic. I'm glad that was shared because failure is a place where the devil loves for you not to even try. He loves those things that stop Christians and powerful young people before they could even go. Kind of the elephant syndrome when you're a baby elephant pulls against the rope and then he gives up by the time he gets to his teenage and adult years. And by the time he's a teenager, he can snatch it and break it. He won't even try because he's already tried and failed so many times. He's not going to try again. Oh, man, that's a favorite one. So my encouragement for us to understand is that the fear of failure is one of those little chains that we get early on at a very young age. Don't try. Don't try. You're just you're not smart like the rest of the children. You're not that good of a singer. You can't run that fast. You'll never get there. Don't try.
Oh, Lord.
Because you might fail. You open that scripture and say, I know I might fail, but guess what? All things that I do, including failure, work together for my good. I might get rejected. This is a trauma story for me. I don't want that rejection. Another one that stagnates before you start. You don't want to even jump into the ring because I don't want to get rejected. So I'm just going to avoid the whole confrontation all in general because all things work together for our good. I want to scare you into buying this new device that everyone's getting to protect themselves because the radiation from the sun and the government using the water badly. And all things work together. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be conscious of these things. What I'm saying is that we don't want to just react and live in a place of just stress, right? We don't live in that state. We live in a place of peace, even amongst our enemies, even amongst our fears, even amongst our weak points. We want to live in that powerful place.
Yes, Lord.
And all of a sudden, you won't need the medical support that many others need because you understand that all things work together for your good.
Amen.
It's not symbolic. It's not Aaron saying something that's nice. It's here in the Word that all things work together. So oftentimes we think about the challenges you may face at work, at home. If you have a grounded space in your spiritual practice and you have your ears listening to God's power,
Yes.
it will open up for your good. Even like Jesus, he was hung on the cross and said, that's not working for your good. Not only was it for only his good, who was it for? All of our good,
Yes.
right? So for me, this is not a limited conversation to every situation I'm going to say symbolically. This can actually take away the control. You know how hard it is to control someone that believes that all things work for their good?
Oh, Lord.
It's so hard to control that population. It's so hard to say stuff you don't need. It's so hard to make you so fearful that you don't go to church or you don't make sacrifices. It's so hard to make you do sacrifices that God wants you. It's so hard for the devil to get in there if you're convinced that
Yeah.
fear is unnecessary.
Amen.
I'm not talking about being surprised. I'm not talking about running from a rat and locked in the laundry room like I was when I was in junior high. Made that mistake. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those that shift you off of your moral compass because you're so afraid to do the right thing. So afraid to step in there. We're going to wrap this up. We're at 31 minutes. I want to say something really powerful here about money, drowning, claustrophobia, spiders, ants, mice, rats, and success. And we'll probably break some of these down more often in our next lessons. But I will say that our brother Travis wrote this song. Says it's called "Nailed to the Cross," and the general idea is that as you read these things out, understand it's already been nailed to the cross. What does that mean? People, oh, that's covered. That's been covered in the blood. People say that. What are they talking about? Like, what do they mean covered in the blood? What they're talking about is when it's nailed to the cross, that means this philosophy that we can live by daily is accessible to us at our will.
I know.
That's what that means. So there are times you might get on a plane and the pilot loses control and things are going sour. Understand that all things work together. Because the Christian, to die is to gain, right? When you're in a situation where you're about to succeed beyond your highest expectations, and your heart rate is beating because you aren't sure how you're going to handle this new life you're about to get in, remind yourself that all things work together for your good,
Oh, Lord.
according to the Word. We're going to pause there because of time, but we're going to pick up on this lesson of what controls us. And really this lesson to me about allowing you not to be controlled by artificial, like me in the theater jumping from this fictitious ball. I think it's flying towards my head because it looks like it does. It is. But if I reach my hand out, I would miss it. So it's not really there. It just looks like it. And that's what the fake fear that we get fed every day is. We're dodging it, but it's not really actually coming after us. So I just want to remind us of this idea as we get into this lesson of what the powers that control us, the powers that control you. And the scriptures, hopefully I'll have those on via text. If you need them, I can text them to you. So you got access to the scriptures to read ahead. I'll have any 4 scriptures for next week, but I'll have those for you as soon as I can. So thank you all for your time and your attention. And those that are online, I appreciate you all participating as well, texting your questions if you have any. And I appreciate all those who may watch it on the podcast as well, because your attention is highly appreciated.